What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to discuss 5 common mistakes that people make when they create flashcards. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I do a lot of flashcards. And through the last 3 years at this point, I've come up with what works, and I've also realized what doesn't work. And more often than not, realizing what doesn't work is actually more useful because you see, okay, here's what I need to fix. So today I'm going to go over the mistakes that I've seen myself make, and in the process, hopefully help you make better flashcards. Today, I'm mostly going to talk about big rules, and then I'm going to give you examples of, bad flashcards that I've made on my own, and hopefully that'll help hammer home the point of what I'm trying to make. The interface that I'm going to be using to show my flashcards is Anki, but just because you don't use Anki doesn't mean these tools won't apply to you. These tips can be applicable across all flashcard domains, including Quizlet. So with that being said, let's go ahead. So the first tip is do not copy and paste questions. As I said, these are mistakes that people make. Do not just copy and paste questions into a flashcard. That is the worst way to make a flashcard. Because if you just copy and paste a question, first of all, if it's a multiple choice question, it's a really bad idea because your brain will just get really good at knowing what the right answer is just by seeing the question stem. And then instead of even reading the question, you'll just memorize the random answer, and that will have no conceptual basis for understanding what the overall mechanism was that was being tested. And by memorizing the answer, you actually deprive yourself of the education of that flashcard. More important than all of this, though, is if you copy and paste a question and use that as a flashcard, it takes so long to read the question that it almost becomes a useless flashcard. And that's why it's horrible. You get nothing out of the card, and copying and pasting questions is one of the biggest mistakes you can make when making flashcards. So for example, here's a flashcard I have on Anki, and I literally took a screenshot of a question I got wrong on a test, and I pasted it in, and I made one side this question, and the back side was the answer. And the answer here is E. But what I saw after I did this question over and over again, and I've been doing this question for years now, is I actually memorized the first 4 words, and I memorized the answer was E. And that's all I ever got out of it. Because when I'm doing flashcards, I want to be going relatively fast. I have like over 1,500 that I want to do maybe in a day. And when I see this, my inkling is not to read this whole thing, which if I did, it would take so long to read that it takes my time away. But more important than that, my answer is also like, I already know the answer here. The answer is E. But do I know why the answer is E? No. Do I know why they decided 90 to 95? Do I know the conceptual basis of what's being tested here? Not really. And so by copying and pasting questions, I actually deprive myself of that underlying conceptual framework that I want. Strongly recommend you do not copy and paste full-on questions. It takes too long to read, you'll memorize the answer, and it will be no benefit to you. All right, the second big mistake that students make when making flashcards is they copy and paste random facts. And this is actually present in Anki. It's present in a lot of the pre-made decks where there's just a random sentence and they blank out one word and they expect you to fill it in. This is not a good way to study because what you'll end up doing is you'll just memorize this word. You won't really memorize the underlying basis behind what exactly that fill-in word is, and you won't actually even know, like come test time, what's the benefit of this? And I actually know the answer here. So chronic endometritis, which is inflammation of the endometrium, leads to abnormal uterine bleeding, pelvic pain, and infertility. On a test, this flashcard means nothing to me. On a test, when chronic endometritis comes up, this flashcard won't mean that much because all I do with this flashcard is realize that chronic endometritis might lead to infertility. But because it's not in a question and answer format, it doesn't say what is one of the implications that chronic endometritis can have on long-term, fertility. And the answer would be infertility. Because it's not in that question and answer format, I rarely find myself really benefiting from these factual cards. And more important than all of that, it doesn't optimize for speed because when I actually think about this card, to really understand it, I actually need to make sure, okay, chronic endometritis, inflammation of the endometrium, you have so much inflammation that lymphocytes build up, plasma cells build up, and that ultimately leads to reactive oxygen species that can ultimately damage the endometrial lining, which prevents the oocyte from implanting, and that leads to infertility. Because that underlying foundation is what I need to understand this card, when that's not there, I actually need to slow down and kind of work myself through it. And on a test, as I said, it's rarely that I find myself benefiting from these types of flashcards. It's just rare that on a test I'll ever see chronic endometritis presents with abnormal uterine bleeding, pelvic pain, and blank. It will rarely come up in this form. And by having a random fact in this form, I'm almost forcing myself to memorize this particular sequence. And that's not usually helpful conceptually. What is helpful is when you have a question and answer format, but I'll get to that in another video. The number 3 mistake that I see students make is including pictures with your flashcards in the front of the flashcard. When you include pictures in the front of your flashcard, you end up memorizing the association of the picture with the answer instead of the underlying concept. And because of that, you get no conceptual understanding of the flashcard. You just memorize, oh, I know that picture, and I know whenever I see that picture, the answer is mitochondria. And you memorize that association, and you don't actually end up memorizing the underlying foundational concept. So let me show you here. So this is a flashcard I made on Anki, and this is a closed deletion, which means I have to guess what this blank is. But because I included this flashcard's picture in the front, and I see this all the time, I know the answer is air bronchogram. But all I did was memorize the association of this with air bronchogram. And that's actually not the best way to study, because on a test, I will rarely ever see this exact image. Rather, I'll see probably another image that depicts an air bronchogram. But because I memorized just this picture with air bronchogram as the term, I will not even remember the fact that the thing that I actually wanted to remember was this definition afterward, which is the fact that air bronchograms occur when there's air-filled airways that are coursing through opacified parenchyma. This is actually a really bad idea to do. So if anything, include pictures on the back of your flashcard. So make sure pictures show up when you see the answer. But no, do not put pictures in the front of your flashcard, because then all you end up doing is memorizing the association of the picture with the answer, which will not help you at all. Trust me, I've done over 1 million flashcards, and that never helps. You just memorize the answer by the picture, and you don't actually understand the concept. All right, the fourth bad Anki card, or the fourth bad mistake that I see with students who make flashcards, is they create flashcards that have vague answers. So for example, here's a flashcard I created on Anki, and I said, what 3 lab tests should you get if you are suspicious if someone is having a seizure? And I even helped myself by specifying, don't give me imaging or EEG as one of them, because obviously if someone has a seizure, you will do an MRI and you will do an EEG. So what 3 lab tests should you get? The reason I hate this flashcard is this is just horrible. There's so many answers to this that there's no real right answer for the 3 lab tests. So because there are so many answers possible, and I will actually get smarter over time. So for example, when I created this flashcard, I was in neurology. And in neurology, the answer at the time from my mentor was, oh yeah, I usually get a CBC, I get a CMP, and I usually get a magnesium. But as I realized, and I went through emergency medicine, I was like, oh, you know what? I might actually even want to get a lactate. And you know what? It might actually be informal to get a ESR or a CRP. Maybe they have an underlying autoimmune condition. Maybe they have lupus or something that's causing this. Oh, you know what? Oh, they have a past medical history of like a DVT. So if they had a seizure, maybe they did have a syncopal attack, and maybe this wasn't a seizure. So maybe we should get a D-dimer. So I got smarter over time, and I realized, like, when I saw this flashcard, the answer wasn't always CBC, CMP, and a MAG. You might actually want to get a lactate. You might actually want to get an ESR and a CRP. And because of that, having a vague answer to this flashcard made this flashcard useless, because this flashcard implied that there were only 3 lab tests I should get, when in reality, in the real clinic, when I see someone having a seizure, I might want to get more. I might want to get a CBC, I might want to get a CMP, I might want to get a magnesium, but I might also want to get a lactate, and all of those things. And my last mistake that I see students make, oh, here's another example. So here, where are the microhemorrhages caused by hypertension hemorrhage? So what I'm asking here is, sometimes you will have hemorrhages that occur in the brain. They can result from hypertension. But where are they? What the hell does that mean? This is such a vague question that this is a horrible flashcard. What do you mean where? Do you mean where in the brain? Do you mean where in the body? If you mean where in the brain, do you mean like specific structures? Do you mean like anatomically? Or do you mean medial? Do you mean distal? Do you mean proximal? Do you mean distal? Like all those things. And so because this is such a vague question, this is a horrible, horrible flashcard. And you'll see that the answer here is medial. But I should definitely include some sort of modifier. Maybe I should include like, where are the microhemorrhages in the brain? And after that, include like distal versus medial. Include some sort of option so I know like what frame I should go in, because this right now is not specific enough. Okay? All right. And the 5th mistake I make, and I see other people make when they make flashcards, and this is a horrible way to make flashcards, is to have comparison flashcards that also have vague answers. So for example, here's a flashcard I made. What is the difference between multiple sclerosis and neuromyelitis optica? Again, there's multiple answers that are possible here. And again, as you get smarter, your answers will change. In neurology, you may learn something initially. You'll learn my multiple sclerosis is A, B, C, and D, and neuromyelitis optica is A, B, C, and D. But maybe 1 year down the road, you'll learn something else, and you'll learn, oh, there's also this difference. The only thing that's different here, though, is you can fix this because this is just a specific comparison question. So you can add some sort of specifier. So here, I think the main thing that I was going for was neuromyelitis optica actually has an anti-aquaporin 4 antibody that's associated with it. So one thing that I might want to add here is to fix it by saying, what is the difference between MS and neuromyelitis optica in terms of immunologic findings or antibody findings? And by adding that specifier in, I can actually have a good answer and make this flashcard from a shitty flashcard to an actually pretty useful flashcard. Because one of the biggest differences is this anti-aquaporin 4 finding. Another difference is the fact that if you treat neuromyelitis optica with a interferon B, which is the treatment for multiple sclerosis, it actually gets worse. It doesn't get better. And you'll see here the answer on this on the back was, this anti-aquaporin 4 and the fact that you don't get better from your attacks. And it gets worse if you treat it with interferon. So that's actually the whole presentation. Those are 5 very common mistakes I see when I see people making flashcards. We can review them very quickly. So the first one is copying and pasting questions. Just don't do it. You memorize the answer without learning the concept. Copying and pasting random facts. This is actually a really bad idea. You should always try to have flashcards in the question and answer format because that's how you'll usually be thinking on the test. And by having random facts, you'll just memorize a word and an association, maybe if you're lucky with the disease, but you won't actually understand the underlying basis behind that. The third mistake that I see people including is including pictures in your flashcards, because then you memorize the association with the picture and the word as opposed to actually understanding the concept, kind of like the multiple choice. And number 4 and number 5 are having vague flashcards. Do not have vague flashcards in terms of descriptions. So if I'm asking what, having just 3 lab tests, there's going to be more than 3 lab tests that might work. And also in terms of comparison flashcards, having vague answers there is also not useful. So if you found this video helpful, drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. If you like this, let me know. And yeah, I like making these for you guys. So thanks for watching. Peace.